Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia. I'm an Auckland wedding photographer at Lydia Rachel Photography and your host. This week, I'm excited to be joined by the incredibly talented Ash Muir. You may know her. She's a wedding photographer, creative, and recent bride herself. We chat all about her beautiful wedding day and everything that went into planning it. Ash has such a distinct creative style and perspective on weddings through her photography work, so it was really special getting to hear what it's like for someone who spends every weekend capturing weddings to finally experience her own. We chat about creating a wedding that genuinely reflected them as a couple, pulling inspiration from their own home and personal style instead of trends, and why she thinks couples need to stop stressing about making their wedding feel timeless. We hear the proposal story and the shed that her fiancé built in the garden and the celebration with friends that followed, the reality of planning a wedding while working in the industry, why coordinators are such an underrated investment, and so many fun behind-the-scenes moments from the day itself. This episode is a great mix of honest advice, beautiful inspiration, and genuinely funny stories. It was so lovely chatting to Ash, and she has incredible taste. So pop over to Instagram to see some of her beautiful photos taken by the amazing Kieran Sweeney, and go and check out Ash's photography work too. It's always nice having both the perspective of a bride and a vendor, so I know you guys are going to love this one. Let's get into it. Enjoy episode 149 with Ash. Hi Ash, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today. So excited to chat all about your wedding.
Yes, thank you for having me.
A lot of people know you are a wedding photographer, so have a lot of experience in the industry, and I've had a few of your lovely brides on the podcast as well. But yeah, I thought if you could just give us a little background on that, kind of how you got into photography and weddings, and yeah, a bit of a backstory.
Yeah, well, I actually always wanted to be a photographer. I'm pretty lucky. I never kind of had any other ideas or options. Well, not really options, but you know what I mean. My dad was a photographer when I was younger, so I always kind of just saw him shooting, and then I just thought that that's what I wanted to do. So I was lucky going through high school and stuff. I did like obviously all of the art classes and photography classes, and then I went to AUT to study. I did a fine arts degree. I started at AUT, and then I moved back down to Hamilton, and I finished it at Wintec, and then I did an honours degree in fine art photography. So I kind of like was always going down like the fine art sort of route. And then I quickly realized that you actually like, unless you're the top dog, you're not making much money being a fine art photographer, which I was like, okay, whatever. So then I kind of pivoted. I think I second shot for one of my friends, Naomi, who's a wedding photographer as well. And I was like, oh, this is actually quite cool. Like, it's a good vibe. I like hanging out with people and like yarning to people. So yeah, I just was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a go. So I just started doing like a couple styled shoots and things. And then yeah, I did that for a few years, working alongside like a full-time job. And then probably I think it's like 9 years ago, maybe now, I went full-time. So yeah, so now that's all I do. It's just weddings in the summer, and then just like a bit of kind of whatever stuff in the winter. Lots of like commercial jobs and working with a production company here in Hamilton that I do quite a lot of like commercial and advertising work for. So yeah, weddings is definitely my bread and butter, which I love. Pretty
Yeah,
lucky.
so cool. Love that. It's cool to hear a bit of the backstory, and then yeah, obviously kind of having that experience going into your own wedding planning as well, which we'll get into. But yeah, if you could kind of start off with your story about how you guys met and yeah, your kind of life together.
Well, Paddy and I met actually probably about 10 years ago because I moved into his flat full of boys in Hamilton. It was like when I was still studying. So I think I must have been doing my honours degree at that point. And yeah, and then honestly, I was low key obsessed with him. And he was like not that obsessed with me. So it was a long game. But I really liked him. And so obviously it was never going to work if we were in a flat together. So I think I lived in the flat for maybe a couple of years, and then moved out, and then things sort of started getting serious from there. yeah, and then he ended up buying our house that we live in now, but not me because I'm self-employed, and banks
Yeah.
like you're
Hate us.
self-employed early,
Yeah. Mm.
usually not a photographer. So yeah, and that's kind of how we met. It's not very exciting.
No, so good. Love it. In-person meeting as well. So much
Yeah,
online these days.
I know. I actually think like 10 years ago, like Tinder and stuff like actually wasn't really a thing. Like
Yeah.
I think I went on Tinder like around that time, but like that was it. So I never really got to do that dating app thing, which I'm not
You're
mad
not
about.
missing out. Yeah. So yeah, together for quite a while. Yeah, got your house and everything, and then you guys got engaged. Can you tell us a bit about the proposal story?
Yes. So I we've lived in our house, I think maybe like 8 years or something. And I like literally spent 5 years or something making this garden like from scratch down in the front of our house. And it was like my pride and joy. And then Paddy decided one day that that's where he was going to build a shed. And I was just like, are you actually kidding me? Like, whatever. He built the shed. It took, honestly, the longest build time ever. It was just like a running joke that like the shed was never going to get finished and stuff. And then I came home. I had picked my engagement ring because I'm me. Um, so I really wanted a vintage engagement ring from Coco Florence over in Tauranga. Do you follow her? She's
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, so cool.
And so I found my ring, and then so I knew he had it, and we are about to go over to Europe for a few weeks, and I didn't want to get proposed to in Europe. Mainly because I just wanted to have like a big party afterwards. And I was like, well, we can party with the two of us, but also it would be way more fun if we could party with like all of our mates. So I was shooting a wedding in Auckland, and then I came home and he was on one knee in the shed that he built. And it's probably the only time I've been in the shed was proposed to, and there was this like a sign up and it said Ashley Bryant question mark, and then he had our dog Ringo Starr, and she had like a little cute bow collar on, and like it was just so cute, and he actually videoed the whole thing, which is very cool. He's like so not like that. So yeah, that was cute. And then the coolest part was that then he invited all of our friends and family over to our house that night. So we like went upstairs into the house, and then he had like wine and cheese and flowers and blah blah blah. And then everyone like started arriving, and I was like, "What the hell? This is so cool!" And then we just had like this massive as night, and then we had one day to recover and pack, and then we went to Europe literally the
Oh
next day.
wow.
So it was like a lot, but it was like the perfect. All I wanted to was like it to be low key and just like I'm a massive party girl, so I was like
Yeah.
just a big party.
So good. I love that. So sweet. Put the shed to use as well.
I
So
know.
funny. Cool to just go off to Europe and kind of stay in that bubble as well, straight
Yeah,
away.
it was kind of
Yeah.
nice because like I do love the idea of like getting proposed to in Europe, and like I don't know, like the Eiffel Tower or whatever. I think it's so beautiful. I love seeing people's photos and stuff from it, but it's just like very like not me and not us. And the thought of him having to carry around an engagement ring until he decided he wanted to do it when we were over there, like I know that would make him anxious. And so I'm not going to ruin your holiday just because I want to get married, get proposed to in France.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And yeah, so you'd obviously been thinking about getting married one day and seen lots and lots of weddings. Did you have kind of a vision in mind for your own of what you wanted? And yeah, how did that kind of planning process start? Did you look at a few different venues? Yeah.
Yeah, all we knew from the start was that we wanted to go away and it like not to be in the Waikato, just because we wanted everybody to kind of like have a few days away. Like if you have kids, don't bring. I mean, people brought their kids anyway, which we didn't care about. It was kind of open invitation to anyone, but if we wanted everybody to be able to go away for the weekend, like enjoy it, like get a house with your friends, you know, and we wanted to do it kind of over a long weekend, so it wasn't just a one day event as well. So we knew it wasn't going to be in the Waikato. We love like the Rotorua Lake area. That is so cool. What we go and we stay there quite a bit anyway. And obviously I shoot lots of weddings at the Black Barn, which I love the Black Barn, but I was never going to get married there because I shoot there so much, even though it's such a beautiful spot. So I had a wedding at Longfords booked like a couple of years ago, and I'd never been there before. And I was just like, oh yeah, this Longfords place, like I've heard of it, but I've seen it, but I've never actually been. And then as soon as I turned, and then I like looked online and stuff, and I was like, beautiful lake, like stunning scenes, like just thought it was super cool. But then when I got there, and then I saw like this amazing red brick homestead that I had not really seen on any of their like socials and stuff. You kind of see it when the bride's like walking down the aisle, but that's kind of it. And then the rest of the wedding is kind of very much lake facing. But I love the house. Patty is an architect as well, so it's like we kind of do love different types of like architecture and buildings and stuff. So yeah, and then I was like, holy hell, this is the coolest place I've ever seen. And it had like little ponds, and it was really like English garden vibes. And I like ideally we actually wanted to get married at Patty's parents' house in Te Pahu, and it's like a very similar vibe to Longfords, but I just like did not want to plan a wedding that wasn't at a venue. Like the logistics of it. And I love it so much. And I wish I was that person, but I'm just not like, I can't. So this was the next best thing. And it was beautiful. So I didn't shop around or anything. I've basically been to most of the venues in the country. So that was kind of my thing, is that I didn't want to get married at a venue because I'd shot at so many places. But then when I saw Longfords, and then I realized, shit, this is actually so cool. And this is exactly kind of the vibe that I want. And so, yeah, locked that in. I literally locked it in the next day. I said to Steph, I want to get married here. And she was just like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'm sure you say this to like every venue that you go to. And I was like, no, like this is it. And then she still like didn't believe me. And then I emailed her on the Monday and I was like, sweet, can we like lock in Easter weekend for next year? And she was just like, oh my God, yes, of course. Like this is so cool. And yeah, so that was kind of easy. And then the styling part, like how it was overall gonna look, was honestly relatively easy too, because like it was hard in the sense that obviously I shoot so many weddings and I see so many different styles, and I see like all of the trend forecasts and stuff like that. So like you can see what's coming. Like most of the time you can kind of forecast what's coming because of like European and American summer, and you can see what's going to make its way over to Australia and New Zealand. So I knew what was coming for this season. But I was like, it's so cool. Like I just, I love all of the styling and stuff that we've seen this season, but I was like, it's just still not us. And I was like, oh, if there's anything that I've learned, it's like you need to just do what is your own style. So I just went straight back to the drawing board, which was like what like the colors that we love, like what's the sort of styling. We live in a 60s architecturally designed home, and everything is like wood, like burnt oranges, greens, cobalt blues. How we've like styled the house is very much like that too. So I was like, we're just going to do our wedding the same. It would be like if our wedding was at our house, but we'd just like take everything from our house and we'll just put it at Longfords. And Longfords, the style, like the color of the house, like the red brick and stuff, like complemented the colors of our home anyway. So it kind of ended up all working. But yeah, that was sort of the thought process, was just to take our house somewhere else.
So good. No, I love that. I think people don't look at their own surroundings, like their personal style, interiors and stuff. Like that's kind of where you should look and figure out what we actually like. Like, yeah, it makes so much sense, not just getting something on Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a reflection of you, right? It's like an extension of you. It's like the biggest party you'll ever throw. So like if you're going to throw it at your house, that's your style. Like yeah, I don't think it's too hard unless you don't have like a distinctive style, which we definitely do. So maybe that made it easier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So good. What were the like top priorities for you on the day, or the most important elements?
Well, definitely photography,
Yeah.
obviously.
Obviously.
Which was so easy because Karen Sweeney is a friend of mine, and like
yeah.
she's obviously just so good. We have very similar styles too, I think, in the way that we shoot. So I always shoot weddings how I would want my wedding to be shot. So, and obviously I'm not going to shoot my own wedding or get one of like my girls like to do it. So I always look at Karen's work for inspo constantly. So no brainer. So that was definitely important. And then same with like any form of like filming, content creating, just something, because I think that you can capture so many things that you can't with photo. And I do really believe that you should have both if your budget allows. We had my really good friend Chloe from Evoke Films, and I work with her all the time, and she's actually just was a really good friend of mine. So she was coming to the wedding anyway. And so she filmed all of it, and just being able to see people's emotions and like hear people talking, especially your vows. I always say to people, you probably won't remember your vows. Like what you won't remember, like what your partner says to you probably. And 9 times out of 10 people don't remember. So yeah, I think being able to go back and watch those rather than just like looking at photos, I think is super important. And then obviously styling, because we wanted an alfresco style dinner, so eating dinner outside looking over the lake. So usually where we had dinner is where people would have their ceremony at Longford. So this was the first time that they'd done alfresco dining outside. So they hadn't done it before. So that was a little bit like, okay, how are we going to make this work? So, like,
risk in New Zealand with the weather always.
especially doing it in April, don't listen to my advice and have a backup plan, because we had a backup plan and it would have been in the marquee, but the style would have just been completely different. So the styling of it was super important. And Sophie from With Love, she honestly like is amazing, and she's just kind of like takes the ideas that you have in your brain and just like puts it out onto the tables. I knew that the only person that was actually going to be able to execute the tables would have been me, or probably my best friend Hannah, who has very similar style to me, but she's a bridesmaid, so I'm not going to make anybody do that. It was perfect. Like that was so important, having that. But that was a really important element to our day, was the table settings, because it was the center of the entire wedding. So yeah, if it wasn't really like that, then the styling probably wouldn't be so important. But for me, it definitely was.
Yeah, so good. It looked amazing. Can you tell us a bit about your wedding outfits, your dress? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I loved my wedding dress so much. Honestly, I'm like, I need to wear it again, and I will. I'll probably wear it on our anniversary, and we'll go out for dinner or something.
So good.
So yeah, I've loved Brooke Tyson and everything that she does for like basically my whole career. And every time someone has a Brooke Tyson dress, I'm always like, oh, I hope she would do my wedding dress. And so yeah, she made me a bespoke design, and I just wear baggy clothes all the time. Like I was never going to wear anything tight or super, I guess, like, I don't know, lacy or anything. But I also am still quite feminine, and I knew that like kind of the look that I wanted was to be feminine but also fashiony and like a little bit edgy. So I just basically wanted a tent. I was like, I just want a full tent. I don't want to be able to see like my feet or anything. And I just like want strapless. I want massive sleeves and just like a cool kind of fabric. So she found like this amazing jacquard fabric. I don't even know where she got it from. And yeah, I kind of just was like, make something just big and baggy. And here's a couple of like inspo photos, but I'm happy for you to do whatever, because she's amazing. And when you give a creative and an artist like full creative control, that's when they make their best work, and absolutely nailed it. So yeah, amazing. Like no notes. It's the coolest dress I've ever worn. I actually think I'm going to get her to make it into like a little mini, because it would be cute little like doll, and I could wear it over like jeans and stuff for like our anniversary.
Cute.
And then my second dress was, I didn't want to wear white because I don't actually ever wear white anyway. So even having a white wedding dress was a bit weird for me. I did still want to be like quite traditional in that sense. Also, you never get to wear white like that, so you should. So yeah, I've got orange hair at the moment. So my best friend Hannah, who is hairdresser, said you can't go back blonde basically for your wedding because we don't have time and your hair will fall off. So you have to be proper for the wedding. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I was like, I have to wear green then, because that's like complements like my copper hair so much. And then I searched high and low. Honestly, could not find a green dress anywhere, like the sort of style that I wanted. And I didn't even really know what I wanted. I found a Miu Miu dress that I saw on Pinterest, and I was like, this is it. It literally was like, can't even remember how much it was. I think it was like 20 grand or something. And it was like not ever. I was never going to wear that dress. I was like, had that inspo. And then Akla, I think it's an Australian brand, Akla, they brought out this amazing sequin set, and it was a top and skirt, and I was like, oh my god, that's it, that's amazing. And it was called like the color of it was called Basil, and that's my son's name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Bought that, got it, and then the top wasn't quite right, so I had to get that taken in and cinched a little bit. And then Brooke made me a matching veil. Well, it wasn't matching. We were never going to match the green, so we went with like another green that kind of complemented it. So that was so cool. Yeah, and then I actually bit of a faux pas on my part, but my dress was going to give me a rash under my arms. So then I had to buy a third dress, which was not in the plan. Everybody thought that I would wear like 3 or 4 dresses, but I didn't actually do. But I had to at the end, so I just bought this random tassel dress off some random website. Honestly, I don't even know where it was from. I think it was called Dash. But it wasn't for like having photos or anything. It was just purely for comfort. But it was actually really cool. So I'm mad about it now.
So good.
I had my veil from Love James as well, because Lizzie just has the coolest stuff. I'm just obsessed with her, and I'm obsessed with everything that she has. Because I knew I wasn't wearing any of her dresses, I was like, I have to have something. So I got some earrings from her and a veil from her, and that was like perfect.
Oh, so good. Yeah, she's amazing. Got so many cool bits and pieces as well as the dresses. So good. And you had a bridal party as well. How was that process choosing them? Was that quite easy for you?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was easy, but it was also hard. I have like a lot of best friends. Yeah, which is really hard. My bestie Liz, who's my maid of honor, she actually like joked about it in her speech, basically saying how many besties I have. And so yeah, it was quite hard, but I could either basically have like 17 bridesmaids or I had to have 4. Like there was no sort of in between. So I had to have obviously my sister, and I was one of her bridesmaids as well. That was a no-brainer. Liz, my maid of honor, she's been my best friend forever. And she's kind of been there the whole time that Patty and I have been together too, which is nice. And then I had Hannah, who's my other bestie, who's kind of just like she's just like a me in another body. Like we're so similar and similar styles and everything. And then my other bestie, Izzy, who is like so Patty's best man, Kieran, it's his partner. So that's like every weekend with them, we go on holidays together. Like our kids are best friends. So yeah, that was like so nice to have her there too. But yeah, I could have easily had another 5.
Yeah, where do you stop? So good.
Yeah.
And how did you go with the guest list as well? Was that quite hard to narrow down? How many did you end up having?
No, I think that was actually quite easy. We had about 100, and I don't think we missed anybody. Yeah, I think we have quite a lot of different friend groups and from different sort of areas of our lives. And it was always, I was never going to not invite all of my friends because, again, I'm a party girl. So, well, like we would have loved to have had like a really intimate elopement, like maybe with like 15 people or something. And like we talked about it, and I was like, but that's not like us. Like we love to party. Like that's like we love to celebrate. We love to hang out with our friends. We're super social. So I was like, and then when you think about it, it's like, well, who are you not going to invite then? So it went to just like, well, we're not going to not invite anybody. Like we have a lot of friends, but we're all quite close. So yeah, it wasn't hard to be honest. It was my family's massive compared to Patty's family. I have a split family, and it's huge, but everyone was there. So
yeah, oh, so good. That's often the hardest part for people. So good when it's not.
oh, definitely.
I'd love if you can kind of go into the day now, maybe a little bit of the lead up to it and how everything went. Any highlights, favorite moments?
Yeah, so we obviously were in Lake Ōkāreka, so everybody stayed in the area, which was super cool. And it was over Easter weekend, so the Thursday before, so Easter Friday is when we got married. Thursday we got to the area, and then we went and had a bowls night. So my bride Charlie, who actually got married at Longfords, they did that and they went to the bowls, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do that too because it's so cool. Little like welcome drinks, everyone can hang out, and if I had like lots of friends from overseas and different parts of the country, so it was cool for everybody to hang out. So we did that bowls night. Then we'd all like went back to the Airbnb and actually had way too much to drink. Like on it, I actually just can't even believe. I've said to so many brides, like, make sure you have a good night's sleep. Like, not too crazy. Like, I can't believe how crazy boys get the night before the wedding. And blah, blah, blah. And then meanwhile, there's us at like midnight on the jetty, like dancing and like super drunk. And I just remember going to bed and being like, I can't believe I've done this. I'm going to be hungover for my wedding.
First night fever.
First night fever. The next morning, we were all so dusty. Like it was so bad.
Oh.
And Hannah and Gabby came over to do our hair and makeup. Han had to start at like 6 a.m. because it was just her. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Like I've got a toddler. I wake up at 5 or 6 every morning, and like 6 a.m. came, and I just could not believe what we had done. And it was mainly the girls that got the first night fever too. It wasn't even the boys. And so we were just dying. We literally didn't even have a drink until probably like midday. Like, when usually it's like, oh, get up, have mimosas, like have a yummy big breakfast. Like, no, because everybody was ill. So yeah, that was but it was so fun. But yeah, geez, that was not good. Yeah, so anyway, then we had Han and Gab come over and do hair and makeup. They're two of my other best friends as well. So Gabby is incredible. I'm sure everybody knows Gabby Houghton. And Hannah Carter from Dee Dee and Daff. So I'm pretty lucky. Like my close friend circle have got to be like some of the best in New Zealand easily. Yeah. So yeah, they came over, did hair and makeup, then chilled for a bit. Patty got ready at the house as well with us. I didn't really care about us not seeing each other. We were both really nervous for the wedding, so it was nice that we could spend the night together. Also, we did think it would be a lot more like wholesome and chill, but it wasn't. And we were just hanging out with our friends. There were heaps of people at the house, which I thought was going to be super chaotic, but it was actually fine. I think because we weren't worried about like, oh, Patty not seeing me or like me not seeing Patty. It was very chill. He got ready and he just came over and was like, does this look good? And I was like, yeah, you look great. And then I got ready and just basically just walked down to everybody and I was like, I'm ready, because everyone had seen me getting ready all morning. So Patty had seen my dress as well.
Yeah.
I showed him a photo of it because I knew he wasn't going to like it because it was very, very fashion, and he doesn't like most of the things. Well, it's not that he doesn't like most of the things, but he just doesn't understand most of the things that I wear. So I was like, I'll just show him the dress so that he doesn't get freaked out on the day. And so yeah, it wasn't a surprise. So we just walked down and I was like, hey, and then we just started doing photos with Kieran at the Airbnb on the jetty, which are like my favorite photos are the ones of us on the jetty. It's like so beautiful with the lake. And then yeah, went up to Longfords, did some photos there with the bridal party. Very chill. It was good. Saw everybody setting up, which was cool. I got to see Rose, and because she was from Rose's dining table, she was doing like a bread and butter like art installation thing for me. So I got to see her, got to see Sophie. So that was nice. And then then we just like retreated into the house, into the homestead for just waiting, I guess, for everybody to arrive. And we were like watching everybody from inside, and it was actually really cool. And we got some cool photos in there. And then I got to see Basil because I hadn't seen him since the night before. He was super spooked out by me being in a massive dress and a veil. So he actually just didn't even want a bar of me, which was quite funny. So we were trying to cheer him up by singing Baby Shark, and he's a big Sabrina Carpenter fan. So we were singing some espresso while we waited. So that was fun. Yeah. And then we just walked down to the aisle. I was pretty nervous because I'm quite a confident person, but anything like in front of people just really spazzes me out. So we had quite like we had a Talking Heads song, This Must Be the Place. So it was quite like, everyone was kind of like bopping to it, like as I was going down the aisle, when I was sort of like, yeah. And then obviously had the ceremony. It was funny because we walked down the aisle, and as soon as I stood and like got up to Patty, I was like, shit, I've forgotten my vows. Like my vows were in my handbag in the house, and I had like written them down in a little notebook, and I was like, oh my God. And then I looked at him and I was like, I left my vows inside. And he was like, seriously, Ash? Like, cause he's like, it's so on brand for me to do that. And I was like, I know. And then I turned around to Liz and I was like, I forgot my vows. And then she like had to pass it down the line. And then it eventually got to Chloe, who was doing video, and she just like bolted inside. And then all of a sudden they were like in my hand, like ready for when we had to do the vows. But that was just so typical of me to forget my vows. We had the obviously signing and stuff. Our mums did the signing. We walked back down to another Talking Head song. It's like a Talking Heads bloody tribute concert, honestly. We had like 3 Talking Head songs. And then it was just straight into canapes and cocktail hour. that's the coolest part of a wedding for me. And I think I always see brides and grooms, that's when they enjoy their wedding the most. So I kind of have always said to people, just like go and enjoy that. Like that actually is the coolest part of your day. You get to go and hang out with everybody. You're not sort of confined to your seat and the people that you're talking to at the reception. You can just sort of wander around. So we did that. And that was really nice because I think if we didn't do that, there would have been so many people that I didn't even see. Like I feel like there were people that I only saw for literally that one part of after the ceremony, and that was it. So that was nice, and we got to like sit down and like hang out with our mates and family. And then we did family photos, which was really nice and also super tedious. Wedding family photos are the worst part of the day, and I tell my couples that
Don't do
every time,
many.
and
Yeah.
no one believes me. And then it gets to the day, and then I can like, it's usually like the groom will like look me in the eye, and I can tell he's like, you were right. And I'm like, yes, I was. This sucks. It's the worst part. And like, you're just stuck there, and everybody's coming and going. Everybody forgets. You like call out for Auntie Mary, and then Auntie Mary forgets that her name's Auntie Mary. And then, or,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, all the Muirs now. And then someone goes, well, I'm not a Muir. Like, you know what it's
Yeah.
like. It's just the worst. So yeah, that was the worst part of the day. And then yeah, then we kind of just chilled, and I got changed into my second dress like before dinner. So I really wanted to wear my green dress and have that at dinner time. I had this really cool blue fur like fluffy coat, which I got one of my friends Shan to buy for me, and I hadn't even tried it on. So the first time I put it on was when I got to my table and just put it on over my shoulders. And then the dinner was just amazing. It was just so cool being able to like look out over the lake, and the festoon lights were on, and we were eating kind of as the sun was setting, and that's when we were doing the speeches and stuff. It was really cool. We did like long tables. Me and Patty just sat in the middle of kind of all of the tables, so that was cool. We kind of got to chat to everybody. Our parents were behind us, so we got to be close to them. That was probably like the best part of the day, was just like sitting down for dinner. We had Cream do the food,
So good.
who are my really good friends. They have the most amazing cafe in Hamilton, and we were never going to have anybody else do the catering. They're just amazing. So they did the food. Rose did the butter installation, bread and butter, which was so cool. Like I wish I spent more time at the bread and butter station, because it was such a cool talking point, sort of something to do. It's a little bit of like an entertainment piece, I guess you could say. But yeah, she's so great. Then speeches were over. And then we were like, the party station was down in the marquee, so it was really important that I kind of had two spots, because I think if you can like halve your day, it gives everybody like a second wind when they get to like a different location, is something that I've kind of found with obviously shooting weddings. So we were like, oh, new spot. So we went down to the marquee, and there was like beautiful blue velvet draping that Lizzie from Table had given us. We had the cake set up. We had Lewis, our DJ, was set up like with the saxophone. Yeah, there were like barlinas and stuff everywhere. It was really cool. We had trumpets on our way in, because that's what we eat at home, trumpets. I love boysenberry, and Patty loves chocolate, which is crazy. Boysenberry is so much nicer. And so everybody had a trumpet as they walked in. We did the first dance, cut the cake, and then it was just like full party from that point. I was like, okay, like formalities are done. Like I just want to party. And that was at like maybe 8 or 8:30 or something. It's quite early. Yeah, and then just partied, and then we went back to the Airbnb. We all caught the bus back, and we partied until 6 a.m.
Nice. Not tired from the first night then, just like full adrenaline sender. Yeah, so good.
I know so many people are like, "Oh, Ash, you'll be so tired, like you'll crash, like you won't want to have an after party." And I was like, "That's crazy that you think that, and you know me, and I will not want the day to end." And I honestly did it, and it got to 6 a.m. and we were like, "Guys, we need to go to sleep."
Yeah. Oh, so good. Sounds like such an incredible day. And yeah, love how you planned out the timeline like in the best way possible. And yeah, so many cool moments in there. Is there any other like little highlights you want to mention?
Well, I think like with the timeline, it's like you think, oh, I want to have all this time to go and hang out with my friends, or in that sort of in between time, but you just need the right amount of time, because quite often you'll see people, especially if they do a first look, that time in between is too long and people get bored. And when people get bored, they either like completely zone out and they're like, you can't bring them back. They're like, they're done. They just want dinner and then they want to go home, or they get too drunk. So, and we had cocktails. We had like margaritas and gummy bear sours from Mr. Pickles and Hams. Yeah, I was like, people will get so drunk that they're not even going to make it to dinner. And so, yeah, I think there's this weird thing of like, oh, but your wedding day is so short. Like you start your wedding day at 3:30, but it's like you have to though. If you plan on partying and you're drinking until midnight or whatever, like you do have to kind of like be quite tight with the timeline. So I was very intentional with the timeline. And yeah, any other highlights? I think the biggest highlight was probably my dad walking me down the aisle with my stepdad Jace. My dad's got multiple sclerosis, so he is in a wheelchair. And yeah, I just didn't think I had obviously seen brides walk down the aisle for the last 10 years with their dads, and I don't know, at every wedding I'd think, oh God, I hope actually get to have dad walk me down the aisle. Like I just didn't know if that was going to be like an option for me. So that was so nice. So he was in his wheelchair and he wheeled me down, and I had him on one side and Jace on the other. And that was probably like, yeah. At the end of the day, you think about stuff like that and you're like, that's why you get married, like for moments like that. So that was, yeah, easily the best part, even though I'm pretty sure he ran over my dress.
Oh.
Definitely would have run over my dress. But yeah, that was so special.
Oh, I love that. So good. What did you find like the hardest part about wedding planning? Or yeah, is there anything you look back on and regret or would have done a little differently?
No, I think the hardest part is probably when you work in the industry, like the amount of people that were like, your wedding's going to be
Yeah.
amazing. Like, look at all the weddings that you shoot. And it's like, I'm so lucky that my couples are like so stylish, so cool. Like, they have pretty big budgets. Like, but I'm not necessarily my own target market. Like, we did not have a big budget at all. And so I think it was this pressure of being like, what if it's shit? Like, what if people like look at it and they're just like, ugh, how underwhelming? And then I was like, or like, when have you ever cared about what people think anyway? So I kind of just had to snap out of that really quickly. And I was like, if I love it and Patty loves it and our family and friends love it, then I don't care what people think, like how it looked or whatever. But that was probably like the biggest hurdle mentally, was to kind of get over that.
Hard not to feel that pressure and yeah, just the expectation from everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just staying true to the style and like the theme and the vibe of the wedding, it's really easy to just veer off. And as more weddings come, because I was shooting like basically 2 weddings a weekend up to our wedding. And every single wedding I'd go and I'd be like, oh my God, that's cool. Like, oh, maybe we should do that. Or maybe we shouldn't have green tablecloths, maybe we should do blue, or and I just had to keep being like, no, you need to stick to the style that you want, like you've been working on this for over a year, just always like go back to that. So that was probably the hardest part.
So fair enough. Yeah, did you guys have a set budget, if you're happy to talk about what that was or how you found that whole side of things?
Yeah, we didn't have a budget because it just can vary so much.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what the average price of a wedding in New Zealand at the moment is like 70 to 80K or something, like for like a nice wedding. And Patty was like, well, we're absolutely not spending that. And I was like, okay, that's fair. And so we actually, I feel like this is so great, but we spent like 50K. And I think that is cheap
It's
in the wedding
impressive.
world.
Yeah.
And he would absolutely disagree with. He thinks he thinks it's 40 grand too much, basically. But I think, yeah, I was so lucky. Like I didn't pay for hair and makeup, and like I cashed in on like a lot of jobs that I had done previously. Yeah, we got like gifted quite a lot of stuff, like our table linen and things like that made it look so amazing. Like that was from Lizzie. Same with like Rose. So I think we spent 50, but if we had paid for like in cash, obviously I paid for a lot of things like with my photography
Yeah.
and swapping shoots. But if we had paid for everything, I think it would have been about 70. If I think about it, yeah, because there's just lots of things like one of my really good friends is my florist, and I gave her like a budget of like $3,000, but I know that it wasn't $3,000. I know that it was way more than that. And yeah, same with the girls doing hair and makeup. It's like we had like 7 people to do. I know that that would have been thousands of dollars. So I think I'm just lucky. So yeah, you can't take that as uh you get like, do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't say, oh wow, that was 50K, because it actually wasn't. Then we didn't pay for like a lot of things too. Like all the girls wore their own dresses. So I was just like, just wear whatever you want. I kind of had a bit of a broad color scheme, but I was like, I really don't mind. Han rented her dress. I think Liz got hers like on sale or something. Like it was just, I didn't care what they wore, to be honest. And then with their flowers, they just had single stem bouquets. So even just that, instead of having 5 bouquets, we just only had one. So there were little things that we saved money on. All of our like glassware and things like that was from Andy's hire, but marquee hire. So every glass was like 70 cents or something. But then I spent a lot on the plates because I wanted a really nice plate. So then I got my plate from Royal Lab. And I wish I could have got everything from Royal Lab, but it's not in the budget. But the plates were non-negotiable; like they had to be amazing. Yeah, and other things too. Like our friends own a restaurant group in Hamilton, and so we got all of our alcohol at wholesale. Like just stuff like that that literally would have been thousands and thousands of dollars more that we didn't have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Great when a lot of your friends are in the industry or can help you out. And then, yeah, I think having a skill like photography that you can kind of do swaps with, then yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Like if you have something like that, then do a few swaps with people. It's a great way to do it.
Savvy with what you like. We didn't have lots of decoration, but we had heaps of decorations like, on our tables and stuff like that, but they were all from our house. So I went through my house and I just boxed up all of our like candelabras, and like we have these cute little mirrors that I bought from IKEA a few months ago that are in our bathroom. So I just took them off the wall, and like
So
so
good.
just things, and that's why it's good having it like your own style, because it's like, well, I just did everything from home and made it look really cool. Being a little bit like savvy with what you spend your money on.
Yeah, such good advice. Did you guys go on honeymoon straight away? Did you stay down there for a bit, or were you still kind of mid-wedding season as well? What did that kind of look
Yeah,
like?
we stayed till we came home on the Monday, so the wedding was on the Friday. Came home on the Monday, but then I had a wedding on the Saturday in New Plymouth, so we didn't go on a holiday. But I'm done with wedding season now. And honestly, because I go away every single weekend, I just like wanted to go home. I just wanted to go and be in my house, and like my bag is packed constantly for 6 months of the year. Like I live out of a suitcase. So I just wanted to unpack and like go home and like deep clean my house and stuff. But my girlfriend's got us a canopy camping voucher for because we love camping and like outdoorsy. So we're going to do that in the winter. And we're going to Melbourne in a couple of months. I also get to go away so much for work that Patty usually comes with me. So it's not like we're kind of never get to go on a holiday. So
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky.
Oh, so good. Love that. I don't know if this question will be super relevant because I feel like you knew a lot of your vendors and things already, but was there any sort of helpful resources that you used during the planning process for like finding people or even just like inspiration, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, yes, obviously I listen to this
Yay.
podcast. And it's so funny because I actually do listen to it because so many of my brides have been on here, so I love listening to them. And then when you're actually in the planning, no matter how much you know, like every single wedding is different. Like everybody has different little tips and tricks and things like that. And then the people that you interview, you just get to, I don't know, you just see every wedding in kind of a different light and what they do. So it's actually really helpful and inspiring to see how people do it. So definitely that. What else did I? Oh, we used like that wed sites for our website, which was quite good. That was quite expensive, but it was good. To send out like invites and things like that because I wanted to do everything electronically. I didn't want to send out paper invites. Kind of thought that was a waste of money for us personally. I just was like, I can't be bothered. Also, I can't be bothered trying to figure out where everybody lives.
Yeah.
It's too much admin. Like, no. So yeah, just that, and then obviously Pinterest, Instagram. My whole life and algorithm is all constantly consumed by weddings
Yeah.
anyway. So I have to go out of my way to look for anything because I'm just like it's in my face constantly. So it's pretty lucky. Literally all of the vendors were my friends.
Yeah,
So
incredible.
like,
So good. Yeah, it's funny when brides always are like, oh, my algorithm knew I was getting married and it changed. I'm like, that's just me all the time, but I love it.
yeah, so funny. And then people are like, oh, now that I'm not married, I want to get off like the wedding
Yeah.
algorithm. It's just me all the
Yeah,
time.
live and breathe it. Yeah, so cool to hear though. I often think I've had so many chats with people, so many episodes now, like are people just going to get sick of it? But everyone kind of has a different experience, different perspective and little tips and stuff. So yeah, cool to hear.
And when you're in the wedding planning process, it is so consuming. And so you do like I just never thought that I would be a person that would like get home and just be like wedding, 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 like and like it's basically a full-time job. But it actually is. When you're planning your own wedding, it is all you think about and it is all that you talk about because you've got so much to do. So then if you have like a resource that you can just like I would listen to your podcast when I was like driving to freaking Kaitaia or like
Yeah.
to do a wedding.
Yeah.
And because you can listen to them back to back and every story is different.
Oh, so good. So much driving involved as a photographer. I don't think people realize that constantly in the car.
So
Yeah. So good. I feel like you've given heaps of amazing advice throughout already, but is there anything else you would say, maybe from the perspective of a bride and a photographer, but yeah, to couples planning their wedding at the moment?
I think probably from a photographer's point of view, actually, mate, I'll start off with a bride's point of view, is to just do what you want to do. Like, I feel like I keep reiterating it, but it's like you have to find your style, what you really like, and then just go with that because you can just get so consumed by amazing weddings. Especially us in New Zealand, like we I feel like because we see all of the European weddings and stuff happen like a few months before, right? And then we're like, oh my god, we want that, and it's like, yeah, but it's in Europe,
Mm.
and and even just like European like weather and climate and stuff is just so different than getting married here. Like you're just got to stick with what you love and the style that you love, and then I think you'll always like it. I think people get really caught up in this timeless. Oh, I want to look timeless because I want in 20 years to look back and be like, and not know when it was or whatever. But it doesn't matter. Like if you loved it then and you wholeheartedly put your style on it, you will love it in 20 years time. I truly believe that. And like if you do go with like the trend of that season or whatever, who cares? Like in 20 years you'll be like, yeah, that was so freaking cool to do that then. Like and yeah, you might look at it and be a bit cringe, but who cares? Like that's what you loved at the time. So you just got to go with it. I think you just, yeah,
Yeah.
just don't get too caught up, yeah, in what other people are doing. And I think from a photographer's point of view is like you just actually have to enjoy your day. I think there's so many times when I would shoot weddings and I just know that the stress of like what's happening next or put so much time and effort into planning this wedding and they want it to be so perfect and to run so smoothly that they don't get to actually enjoy the wedding. You've got to just fully let go. Like the best, I always say the way to have a super chill wedding is to be really organized with your planning and the lead up, which is so funny because I'm not an organized person at all. You do, and you have to just be so organized because that's how you can let go on the day, and you really have to let your vendors do what they do best. Like there's a reason why you paid them to be there. So you just got to let them go with it. If you've got like a coordinator and things like that, then you need to, they know what's best. We do weddings every single weekend. Like if we're giving you advice on what we think would work good, just honestly take that advice. Yeah, and just enjoy it and that's why you have your vendors because you pay everybody to run your wedding day so then you can enjoy your wedding. That's the whole point. So also get a coordinator. Have a coordinator, definitely. I think that is like I feel like I've been saying it forever, but please, for the love of God. On
Honestly,
a lot of
same.
venues come with a coordinator. Mine did. I was so lucky. I had Steph and Millie, and they were honestly incredible, and I would have been screwed without them. But I knew that it was going to have to happen because as a photographer, if you're in the media team of a wedding, you're the ones that are there from start to finish. So you kind of are the ones that end up coordinating the day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you end up doing any sort of coordinating while you're still trying to do your normal job of photographing or videoing, then you're going to miss stuff. And then therefore you're not going to be able to do your job properly. So if you have a coordinator, and I know some of them are expensive, and like even if it's just somebody that your mum's friend that's not doing anything that weekend, give them a timeline. And, you know, just somebody that can help out, because you don't want it to fall on your vendors, and you definitely don't want it to fall on your family and friends. And even your MC, like, yeah, your MC is there, but they're there to kind of like keep things moving in the day. They're not there to keep you on a tight time schedule.
Yeah.
So coordinator is just, yeah, it's so important. You don't necessarily need like a full wedding planner. Like I mean, I would have one, but it was not in the budget thing. But if a coordinator, I think is just a non-negotiable.
100% agree. Yeah, one of the most important
Agree.
vendors. Totally. And I've been to so many weddings, like you would have as well, where you end up being that person, be like, okay, guys, we've got to go do this because you need to come back and your dinner's going to be ready at this time. Like just thinking about
Yeah.
the flow of the day, and you don't want to, you know, rush people through things. But if somebody else is just kind of like, got that all down in the background, then it just flows, and yeah, so much more enjoyable. The couple can just like enjoy it, not be worrying about, oh, are we on time, what's next. Yeah, everything you said, totally agree. What is married life like now, and do you feel like you got any post-wedding blues?
Married life is exactly the same as my non-married
Yeah.
life. It's just so funny. I don't even think I've called Paddy my husband yet. It just feels way too weird. I actually didn't get any blues, post-wedding blues. And I know people 100% do, but I think because I was in like major work mode, I just had to. And I was honestly kind of glad that it was all over, because because it went so well. And like, I honestly would not change anything about what happened on the day. So I think I didn't have anything to second guess or be like, oh, I wish I did that, or I wish we didn't do that. So I was just like, sweet, it's done. We bloody slayed that. Like, let's now just like move on. Like, I'm so glad I never have to do that again, because it was way too stressful and nerve wracking. But it was also like the best day ever. So didn't feel sad it was over. I was very happy to go back to regular programming for sure. And also like now I'm in off wedding season, so I'm just chilling.
Yeah,
and it's
so
so
good.
nice.
I know. Yeah, we're not mad about the seasonal thing. Sometimes you need that bit of downtime, and yeah. Yeah, so good. Amazing. It's been so lovely to chat to you, and yeah, hear all the behind the scenes of your beautiful photos and wedding day. Is there anything else that we missed, or yeah, you wanted to add before we wrap up?
It was actually like, yeah, I reckon I was probably quite an annoying bride, to be fair. I just, and like I have like two basically separate lives. Like my career and my photography business is so type A. Like I run such a tight ship. And then I think it's so tight that when I get to my personal life, it is so type B. You've never met a more type B person than me. And I was like, which way will I go as a bride? Like, and I definitely went type B. Like I just I gave no one really anything. I kind of just said, here's a few ideas. This is kind of the vibe, but just do whatever. And I remember saying to Soph, like when when we were doing like the table planning, and I was like, oh, if you think that, oh yeah, that's enough, just add more. Like, and no matter what, just keep adding shit to the table. And when she was setting up and Kath was doing the flowers at the same time, and apparently Sophie was like to Kath, what do you think? Do you think that's enough? And she would just yell out like, just add more, just keep adding more and more stuff, just leave only enough space for like the food plates. So yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe I was quite annoying, but also sometimes I do think that's better than having a bride that's like on your ass.
Yeah.
So
No, you're like trusted them, your vendors, and just like
yeah, I
empowered
probably
them. Yeah.
spoke too that way,
Yeah.
I reckon. And same with like the girls' dresses. Like they were like, "Can you just give us something?" And I was like, "No, I can't." And Kath with the flowers, she was like, "What's the vibe?" And I was like, "Can I just show you the colors?" And I was like, "I don't really care, just as long as it's no pink. I don't want, and I only didn't want pink. Not that I love pink flowers so much, but I think the pink with the like reds and greens and like really warm sort of 70s tones just like didn't go. So I was like, just do whatever." But yeah, so I was probably actually quite painful to be fair, but oh well, they're probably all glad it's over now too.
Oh, not too bad. So good. Amazing. Thanks so much for coming on. So good to chat.
Thanks for having me. It was so nice. It's nice to relive it, you know?